I think it's fair to say that no one can stand the star of this movie. This is truly like, she has to go. I'm sorry, Disney. She has to go.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
The reason we had Rachel Zegler on the docket is she's an asshole.
I'm a narcissist.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged. I truly do believe that.
I know this point has been made, but this truly is the worst casting maybe in the history of the film industry. Has there been a film with worse casting than this? And I don't just mean the Snow White actress. Obviously, she's terrible, but both of them.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
This is someone who is as entitled as, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed. She's unhappy. And she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable. Like the majority of people in Hollywood, they're just not stable human beings. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Neither of them make any sense for their roles. We've already covered how Rachel Zegler is a terrible choice for Snow White. Nothing about her says Snow White, and that's even leaving aside the fact that she openly detests the story, as she said many times during this disastrous PR campaign. But Gal Gadot, who plays the queen, the first problem is that she's the evil queen. The evil queen is supposed to be envious of Snow White's beauty, and that is just not believable. It is just not, even in a movie with magical mirrors and dwarves and all that, in a fairy tale, that strains my ability to suspend disbelief. I cannot buy that Gal Gadot is angry that she's not as beautiful as Rachel Zegler. I cannot buy that.
Oh, man.
Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
Now, for Disney, as you probably remember, all of this publicity, the Zegler interviews, the Daily Mail leak, caused a lot of unexpected, for them anyway, pre-production problems. People weren't supposed to see and understand just how unwatchable the new Snow White was going to be. It was supposed to be, kind of a surprise, but now there was no hiding it.
Doom is a love story just because, we cast a guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Controversy has swirled around Gal Gadot's new movie, also starring Rachel Zegler as Snow White. A lot of people don't like her. A lot of people don't like her either. She's got a big mouth. She talked trash about the original movie.
I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is.
The moment Disney cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White, it was like a spell broke. And not the kind where birds sing and wands twirl. They chose someone to play one of cinema's most iconic princesses who had, in her own words, called the original Snow White creepy, outdated, and not something she'd ever watch again. That's not speculation. That's on record.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937. She's going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
She delivered those lines proudly on the press tour, smirk and all. You could almost hear Walt Disney rolling in his cryogenic chamber. This wasn't just a casting misfire. It was the opening scene of a disaster movie disguised as a fairy tale. And then came the interviews. Oh, the interviews. Instead of leaning into Snow White's legacy or trying to win over skeptical fans, Rachel doubled down. In one viral clip, she casually mocked the original story, dismissed the prince as weird, and scoffed at the very idea of a love story.
Disney is having its own problems. They're finally releasing the latest adaptation of Snow White, but they're scaling back the Hollywood premiere of the film. Kinsey, why is that?
Because Rachel Zegler is a PR night.
Sure, 2024 wants stronger female leads, but there's a difference between updating a story and setting it on fire. What made it worse was her tone. It wasn't just confident, it was smug. Rachel didn't sound like someone trying to modernize a character. She sounded like someone trying to rewrite the entire legacy like it owed her money. Speaking of money, let's talk about that now infamous clip where she, with full defiance, said she deserved to be paid every time someone streamed her movie.
There are 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed on.
People are like, oh wow, Snow White flopped. Who is surprised? You cast arguably the least genuine, most out of touch, and disliked person in her industry, and her industry is Hollywood. And the bad guy is Gal Gadot.
That sound you heard. Every studio executive in Hollywood face-palming at once. And the irony, that statement came before the movie even premiered, before the Rotten Tomatoes scores, before the box office crash. Like, slow down, Rachel. Maybe wait until the film is a global phenomenon before demanding royalties on every stream.
Welcome, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
It takes a special kind of PR genius to demand royalties on a movie that audiences were roasting before the trailer even dropped. And then there was Gal Gadot, our literal evil queen, and apparently Rachel's silent co-star hostage. Every red carpet event, every photo op, every interview they did together, Gal looked like she was one glass of wine away from a full breakdown. Fans caught on immediately. By the time the Oscars rolled around, their tension could have been cut with a poisoned apple.
White gets her name, not from the fairness of her skin, as we obviously know Rachel Zegler would be a miscast in that sense. Instead, she gets her name from surviving a snowstorm.
That audiences walk away from this film with an understanding of the true meaning of fairness, of what it means to be fair in this world. There is a message that's been carried on for almost 90 years now from the original animated classic. That is, fairness is what is within. Fairness is to do with your heart, the way you treat the people around you. And it has nothing to do with what you look like. And that's the misunderstanding between Snow White and the Evil Queen. I think it's such an important message, and the way that Disney has elevated it and brought it to this new audience is very special.
Gal would pose on one side, Rachel on the other. No arm touches, no sisterhood vibes, just stiff body language and tight-lipped smiles. You know that look you give a coworker only because HR told you to be nice? That was Gal. Every single time Rachel opened her mouth. But the real kicker? The movie itself. This wasn't just a remake. It was a reimagining, which in Hollywood is code for this is about to get messy.